You know what I wish we had on our front doors? You know, like everyone's just got like a key and lock.
Yeah.
I wish front doors had evolved to some point where we have like big vault doors, like you see in games, where just like you turn the key and you just see all this like big convoluted system of like latches going, and like the whole door spins and rotates. And instead, you just get handle in. Great. Like imagine if it was just more dynamic than that.
Yeah, I mean, if it works.
A bit more of a dynamic entry. Hello in there, I'm Richie and welcome to Sounds of Stadia's SideQuest, the show where we take a step off the critical path and explore more of what the game world has to offer. On this week's show, I'm joined by the Monster Boy himself and the host of the Sounds of Stadia podcast, Mr. Chris.
Go get him, Outriders.
And the techie teacher himself, Mr. Tom.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah.
Mario!
He made me restart the show because I didn't call him Mr. Tom, I just called him Tom. It was a whole thing.
Can we point out, he didn't make you start the show. You opted to restart the recording because Tom wasn't happy with his lack of title. That's like everyone out there who's a doctor. As soon as you don't say doctor, they always go, it's doctor.
It's doctor, actually.
Yeah.
Miss. I actually had one random side story. In my old place of work, I had a young couple come in and they almost broke up in front of my eyes because I had to ask for some of their details. And I asked the young girl, is your title Miss or Mrs.? And she got so confused by that question. And her boyfriend had to turn her and go, are you serious? And she was just kind of like totally blank faced, like she did not know whether. She was like, Mrs. And then he like looked at her again and was like, it's Miss, we're not married. Because they were only like 18, 19-year-old. And he started laughing and he honestly didn't believe she was being serious and she was just totally lost and in utter confusion. So I almost had a domestic happen right in front of me just by a simple question. Is it Miss or Mrs.? So
I just need to tick this box in the form. I
don't actually care. So it's quite important to some people. Reverend.
Yeah. Reverend Tom.
I actually had someone who was a lady.
Ooh.
Like an actual like lady as a title, which then went down the whole.
I thought you were going to say you just served a woman before.
Yeah. I served a lady.
Dame.
Yes.
Helen Mirren would be like lady, whatever. And then I made the mistake of asking about the title, and then she gave me this whole rundown of her land she owned and inheritance and this. And I was like, okay, you're just showing off now.
I mean, Dame Helen Mirren wouldn't be a lady because she would be a dame.
But I think they can go by lady as well. Like it's their preference of it if they own certain land. I don't know. It's some whole legal British thing that we do over here.
Anyway, weird British titles aside, let's get into some housekeeping. Don't forget, you can, if you like the show, subscribe to the channel. If you're a patron, you can get the show on the Monday, whole 5 days early from everyone else. And we are now on podcast services. I think we actually are on Google Podcasts now. I did check and we're up there, so I didn't get an email about it, but we are there, which is good to know. Yeah. So Google.
Thanks, Google.
Yeah. So if you prefer listening to this in an audio format, you can. Don't forget to check out the Sounds of Stadia podcast, which comes out every single Monday. And maybe check out our Thursday night live streams. And this week on the show, we're actually going to be talking about YouTube. Specifically about YouTube Premium and could there be Stadia integration there?
Interesting.
Well, we definitely are on YouTube.
Yes, this show is definitely on YouTube. This is probably where you're watching it, unless you're listening on podcast services.
Fair enough.
Can confirm. So, well, I think this has been thrown around for a while, the theory of integrating services. And I know we've definitely mentioned it when Amazon Luna was a thing, and we theorized how it could be really well positioned to blend eventually in with Amazon Prime, because Amazon TV does so well in partnership with Amazon Prime to keep everyone in-house. So when I maybe don't watch Amazon TV for quite some time because there's not particular shows on, usually that would lapse my subscription. However, because I have the added benefit of Amazon Prime delivery, it keeps me ticking over with it, regardless of there being TV content. So it's quite kind of like a double-edged approach where it always keeps me in the wheelhouse. We've seen it this month, actually, with Disney Plus. Everyone's subscription who signed up for Disney Plus last year when it launched is due at the end of this month. And conveniently, they've just launched Disney Star, which adds another 30 million hours worth of content from Fox and more. So everybody who's getting that email going, you're due to resubscribe, is now looking at the value and going, well, of course I'm going to renew. I can watch Scrubs and Die Hard and Grey's Anatomy and everything else on there now. So it's very clever marketing. And back to your question, Richie, I think YouTube Premium, as it sits its current state today, there's a very good argument that can be made for Stadia being another pillar of that premium subscription service. I don't know what you think, Tom.
My YouTube Premium. No, it's interesting because my YouTube Premium has literally just expired as of today. Actually, quite coincidentally. At the moment, there's nothing really there that would get me engaged in wanting to sort of get back into that model. Like, I can see the benefits of it, of being able to either download video for watching offline or for sort of watching things even when my phone is locked. I have actually utilized that before with the podcast, listen to the podcast back. But I do think that by increasing the value, like what you get as part of the package, it does add a lot of, it warrants a discussion, really. I think adding Stadia to the premium package is a good shout, because we obviously know there's a lot of integration in between the two anyway, in terms of like streaming directly to it, and the YouTube integration with crowdplay and with the links and so on as well. There, I forget the actual name for the links now.
Click to play.
Click to play. Thank you. Click to play. I'm sort of stuck here. Because I'm sitting on the fence at the moment as to where exactly I see it being rolled together as one package. Because to me, I think less about combining the two of them, and I actually think about Google starting to push for almost like integrating it into a Google One account where you get Drive and so on as well for it, in terms of the storage for your screenshots and the like as well. I know that's all part of the Stadia service anyway.
Like the G Suite of...
See, actually,
part of the G Suite.
That would be an interesting improvement to Google, to Stadia anyway, because to have Stadia anyway, you have to have a Gmail account, which by definition means you have a Google Drive account.
Yeah, and the Google Photos.
Yeah, so that would be a better integration of captures than what they currently do. Then you have actual direct access.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison to look at. Obviously, Apple, they came out last year with their Apple subscription model, which includes Apple Arcade, Apple Music, and why am I blanking on the third pillar? There's three things you get with it: music, games.
Root.
What else did Apple do? There's something else you get. Why can't I think?
Free iMac Pro.
No. Music. TV, Apple TV. They do Apple. I forget Apple TV because it's by far the worst compared to Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus. Let's be honest. But yeah, like their subscription model. So you get all of those things in one price band. And Apple Arcade is fantastic. If you play lots of mobile games, rather than buying them for £4, £5 here, you get them as part of your subscription. And back to kind of what Tom was pointing out, the way YouTube Premium's evolved last year. Obviously, Google Graveyard, they shuttered the Google... Well, they didn't shutter. This is the weird thing with the Google Graveyard. They just iterate and move things around. They don't necessarily cancel.
This is what annoys me when people refer to the Google Graveyard, where they look at services and go, look at all these services that are gone. But actually, a lot of them have actually been reintegrated into something else. Yeah,
we mentioned it with like Google Duo as their video, their FaceTime, their video conferencing. It's not gone. It's just now integrated as part of everything. If you go on your Google Home Hub and ask it to call somebody, it will do it through Duo, and it will do it to your phones, and it's free. Again, you don't have to pay for it. So we looked at YouTube. When we look at YouTube Premium, they folded in Google Play Music, which was rebranded as YouTube Music, for all that. That's now included. And I think we were saying offline, Richie, that when you look at the price comparison, you pay, £10 a month for Spotify. That's essentially the same thing now for £11.99 in the UK. but you get no ads in your YouTube videos. You can download the content to listen offline. Not that anyone's ever not connected other than when they're on the plane or in a cave.
Well, that's the thing, though. If you are planning to get a flight, that's a perfect time when that feature would be useful if you fly a lot.
Listen to the podcast on a plane.
Yeah.
But does that then sort of bring around a negative sort of experience if we're talking about integrating something like Stadia, which does need to be permanently online, when you've got one part of the service that you can utilize?
I think what we should look at is what the offering for YouTube Premium actually is at the moment. So in the UK, it's £11.99 a month. And you get ad-free content, you get background play, so you can turn off your phone screen and music, for example, music or any videos will continue playing. You get download and you get YouTube Premium. So I think the downloads for me is very much the weakest part of that, personally, because
it's a very niche.
I can see how it could be useful, and that's why I brought up, like, if you fly a lot, being in pre-downloading a load of stuff, especially if you're a long-haul flight. If you were flying to the States, Chris, and you wanted to watch the Sound Stadia podcast, the Sound Stadia SideQuest, and Thursday night community streams, you could download all them shows ready for your flight. Yeah,
I think it's definitely the weaker one. We should also probably consider those out there who don't have like great amounts of mobile data. Yeah. Like if you have 1-2 gig a month and you watch a lot of YouTube content, it's a great chance to download a couple of your favorite YouTube videos and watch them away from a Wi-Fi connection when you are out and about. So
even if you listen to like a podcast on your lunch break or something at work, but you don't use your mobile data, you could download it on the morning using your Wi-Fi, and it's there. So it does have its use, but for me, for my usage, I think the price point of YouTube Premium at the moment is a bit too high, because the main feature I get would be ad-free. It's background play. I can give a leave, and YouTube Music again. I can give or take that because I don't listen to a huge amount of music at the moment.
Yeah, I have Spotify Premium, so that kind of ticks that box for me, I guess. But you're right in terms of price proposition. Like, and this kind of leads back to the Stadia thing. Does adding Stadia into that, what kind of marketing boost is it going to give to Stadia? Because you've got 30 million YouTube Premium subscribers out there who are suddenly going to get Stadia for free. Yeah. Now, I don't know about YouTube, but I don't think Stadia's numbers are anywhere near 30 million right now. So it would be really interesting to say, you've all got a Gmail account, like you said, Richie. You've all got YouTube Premium. You're paying for this already. Let's keep you on the subscription model by giving you something new to try out. And what could that be other than a bevy of games to try on your phone, your tablet, your PC, wherever you use YouTube content? Just have at it. You go play Destiny, go play all these new exciting games. I think it could be a really good marketing thing, more so than even forget about it being included. Just from a marketing point of view, let's face it, Stadia's marketing for the last 18 months has been subpar at best. Just having it as part of YouTube Premium could be the best thing for it to get it out there in the wild.
We should remember actually that they already have done stuff with YouTube Premium where they sent back in November, YouTube Premium members got a free Premier Edition.
That is very true. Correct. Yeah. How many of the 30 million premium subscribers took up on that offer, do you think?
Probably not as many, because if you weren't aware of it.
Yeah, true.
This comes down to marketing. This is why I don't get... I think Stadia could do a lot more marketing using the YouTube platform to push promotions like that out easily.
It is an interesting argument to take the reverse of it, like you said, Chris, and look at the number of people who use Premium and use it as a base to try to boost Stadia. So whether you combine it from that point of view, I suppose, like, I'm sort of looking at it through the lens of what do we see as a result of combining the two of them? But I never really thought about the user base of Premium.
So a lot of people out there. And again, it just goes to, like, here's your two different approaches. Adverts on YouTube anyway, funnily enough, or television adverts, or Super Bowl campaigns, or billboards, whatever that future looks like for Stadia. From a Google point of view, from a cost efficiency and a reaching more people than you could possibly imagine to in the simplest form would be, we have 30 million people here paying $11.99. Give them Stadia Pro included. It doesn't cost Stadia anything because they're already paying the subscription anyway. The running costs to Stadia, obviously, the server rooms already exist, so that they must be very minimal, but they don't have to go out there and pay like a television company or a broadcast agency, anything like that. But I think in terms of word of mouth, that's always going to be Stadia's problem, is people understanding what it is and that it actually exists.
And it works.
If all these 30 million people as an entry point all of a sudden get a notification saying, play Destiny 2, play Borderlands 3, play Cyberpunk right now. Remember how many people have a PS4 still can't buy Cyberpunk? If they get an advert on their phone saying, it's just included with your subscription. If you want to buy it, play it on your phone, include it. I think that's just such a better Google sensical approach.
Yeah. The thing is, even if you only get a 1% uptake rate in that, it's still 300,000 people.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, a marketing advert on between like Coronation Street and EastEnders or whatever, is that going to do the same numbers as something that's... I think a big part of me is engagement, and it's all about getting people to interact with the content.
Yeah.
If you're on your device already on YouTube and that pops up, you're interacting.
Yeah.
If you're watching a television advert, you then have to go from your TV to your device, search the website, sign up, and it's done. Whereas with a premium subscription, you're already logged in. You literally just have to, what Tom said, click to play. If you have that link to Destiny, you could have Destiny booted up on your phone within 10 seconds. And I think that barrier to entry, which we've mentioned so many times on the podcast, is practically zero if it's integrated in YouTube Premium.
I'd say
it's
the barrier
not through
to
billboards and bus advertisements.
Yeah.
So there's a interesting bit there. I think that could go a long way.
I would generally, at this moment in time, say the barrier to entry for Stadia is by far its biggest selling point, especially when there's the cost of next generation consoles is so high and the availability is so hard to get your hands on. If you're especially someone who's a bit more casual in games, like maybe plays a game then doesn't touch the console for another 6 months, forking out 500 quid for a console is probably not high in your priority list. But if you can get in the platform for nothing and then maybe fork out 60 quid for a Premier Edition, that becomes then a solid proposition.
Yeah, I just think all the people who maybe watch YouTube on their laptop, and then they get this prompt up, and then they can all of a sudden they can just play games on the laptop without buying anything. Like there must be tons of people out there who only consume YouTube. Like again, I consume YouTube predominantly through my tablet, but I very much know that's the case and basis for me only. So many people will use it on their desktop computers, their laptops.
The thing
they
is,
don't
again,
necessarily need any more tech.
The thing is, though, we are still assuming that all of those people who use YouTube Premium are gamers to an extent. Like, yes, you're getting it into the hands of people who, who could potentially be gamers, but the reality of them, it's this market of like sort of how many people actually do get into that from that perspective. I don't really know. I'm struggling with this one because I'm really trying to sort of see how it works. Like, I don't see a reason why it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Realistically, I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be mixed together because it's almost like a multimedia package then. If you've got you get your music with it, you get your video with it, you get your games with it.
How much is Stadia Pro at the moment? Is it's about $8.99 a month?
$8.99, yeah.
If I could for $11.99 a month get that plus the features of YouTube Premium, Google will be getting more money out of me every month.
And then that comes back to
because I would upgrade to the YouTube Premium for that.
Yeah, I would as well. I personally would rather pay the extra £3 more and benefit from the lack of ads and not that I use YouTube Premium Music, but just for the lack of ads. I don't want to pay $11.99 for free ads, but I will pay an extra £3 on top of my Pro subscription for it. And then this is when we need to, I think, take a step back and think about not just the games and not just the YouTube content, but like Tommy was saying, a multimedia package.
Yeah.
Having your different arms of the business spread across multiple things clearly isn't the way forward. The general consumer public is split already between Netflix and your TV subscription and Amazon.
The subscription fatigue is a real thing.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want another subscription.
Yeah, I mean, look at Paramount Plus just was announced this past week with Sex and the City coming back, and Frasier of all the sitcoms is coming back with Kelsey Grammer. What? But again, how many people are going to buy into that? Because it's like the 10th subscription that people have, and eventually money becomes a barrier to entry. And if we look at Apple, theirs is all now under one umbrella. If we look at Amazon, we've again, we don't know, but I can see one day Twitch, Prime, TV, and delivery. Luna very much forms part of that with like an optional subscription model.
If you have Amazon Prime, you do get Twitch Prime, so you can subscribe to one channel once a month. There you go.
I'd honestly, with Google and just the general world and the subscription life, I'd be very surprised if Stadia isn't integrated in YouTube Premium or vice versa at some point. Even if it is just from a sudden injection of marketing, because those 30 million user base is huge.
We need to
how long does Stadia? How long does Stadia tick over with? Maybe let's just say 500,000. Say Stadia has 500,000 people on it right now. How long does it gains an extra couple hundred a month? Like on a global basis, it needs that boost. And I honestly think look at Paramount Plus, for example. There's a reason they've got Sex and the City and Frasier as part of that, because that's a nostalgic boost that people are going to look at and go, oh, I remember that. Oh, it's got all 20 seasons of all of them. I'll watch them, and then I'll hang around for the new content. If Google can get people in the door with YouTube Premium, that's when they'll hang around for the gaming aspect of it too. And that's, I think, having a potential user base of 30 million people as of this January, even just like you said, Richie, 1% try it out. Yeah. That must boost Stadia's user base double. See,
now the problem with that is it comes down to what games you're getting on Pro. That's the critical thing, because if you're into, let's say, your main thing you're into is FIFA, and you're just getting small indie games on Pro, then you're looking at the value proposition, and it's probably not going to add anything for you. So you might get it, try it out, and go, no, this isn't for me. And that's one of the problems I think with Pro at the moment sometimes. Especially when you look at sometimes what PlayStation doing with PlayStation Plus. And it's like at times the polar opposites in terms of the caliber of game.
Yeah. I do see that being a problem as well. It's sort of like the appeal of it then, because again, we have to look. It's like a multifaceted argument, really. You have to look at what every sort of angle gets from it too. And we could sit here and we could say, okay, you could bundle Stadia with YouTube Premium, but once again, how do you then increase the player base of Stadia? And it's another problem that needs to be solved, which is get those games that are going to make people. But maybe there's a nostalgia factor there as well, though, Chris. Maybe one thing that Stadia needs to do is to try to also get nostalgic games that
give us Sonic, you cowards.
Like get the Sonic Manias and stuff like that as well, and get stuff that's going to get people seeing it, and almost have, like, rather than splashing your Orcs Must Die and your Dead by Daylight and stuff, and your Destiny 2 at the front of it, being like, oh, look at these classics that you could play.
Video game comfort food, that's what they need sometimes to hit with the Pro. Even if it's not a big title. Something like a Sonic Mania, you might get someone who gamed in the 90s, goes, oh, I love Sonic. I'll play a bit of Sonic.
I mean, we know from our own statistics that the Stadia demographic is very much 25 up to 35-year-olds. That's like the main bulk of our audience that we know. And that could be a really good shout, Tom. Imagine you have I get bombarded with YouTube Premium free trials every other week. So, but my advert is very much just like, here's YouTube Premium, try the trial. If that was a thing saying, oh, look, Sonic games, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, BioShock, the Batman Arkham games, and it was flashing them, and it was like, play them right now by clicking here and start this trial. Then I'm in the door, I'm trying out old games that I used to enjoy, but then while I'm here, I go, oh, they've got Cyberpunk, oh, they've got FIFA, oh, they've got Avengers, and I get this as part of my subscription. Why do I want to chase up the game pre-orders for a PS5, which are impossible to get hold of right now? I'll just say here, and that's when people, like you said, just hang around for subscription models.
I've been thinking about this from the lens of getting people who have YouTube Premium, getting them people into Stadia. But it could actually go the other way around. People into gaming, you could get them into YouTube Premium by offering Stadia as part of the YouTube Premium package. Is going like me. Like I've already said, I'm a case study here. I've already said that I think the price for my use case of it is a bit too steep. But if Stadia was involved, if my Stadia Premium edition, Stadia Pro was in it that price, I would upgrade instantly.
Yeah.
So now
it's interesting how this argument works, isn't it? Really, or how this thought pattern works. Then, are you now convincing yourself of getting YouTube Premium?
Well, not at the moment, because for my usage, I don't think there's enough value for money, and I can tolerate the ads, as annoying as they are. But
and I think to summarize, it's these subscription models. Every business right now is looking to condense everything down to as simple as possible, and I think Amazon is the prime example of that. My prime example of that.
Hey.
The example of Amazon Prime has, as of Q4 this financial year, has 150 million customers, and how much of that must trickle across to Prime TV, and then vice versa, where people just keep it for the deliveries. And I just think if Luna gets that right, we theorized. I think it was on Chase's Talk show we went on, theorizing like, at what point do you get a delivery from Amazon on your doorstep and it's wrapped in Luna tape?
Mm-hmm.
And you open it up, and along with your delivery is a little card that says, here's a 30-day free gaming trial. Play Sonic Mania, play Control by clicking this link. That's putting it in people's doorsteps. Now, Google doesn't have that because they don't have a massive logistics network for deliveries. So what do they have? And that is YouTube. They have millions and millions of people who consume hours upon hours of video content. They have the G Suite with Google Drive and Gmail. Add a little banner. They have the Google search engine. How many times a day do we go and Google something? Just have a little, we said before, have a little Stadia promo on that homepage. That must be the most prime real estate for advertising in the world, google.com.
The problem is, because Google has got such a monopoly on search engines, governments really don't like Google advertising their own products. So that has been a bit of source of friction recently.
They can afford the fines.
But you know where you've got like the all news, videos, maps banner? If you just put games in there and they just took you to Stadia links, where the Stadia links are possible.
Yep. If I go shopping now and we go Cyberpunk 2077 on Google, enter, and I get a Wikipedia breakdown, Metacritic, news stories telling us why it's a mess and all that other stuff. And then across the top, you've got your news. You've got shopping.
Yeah. You
go shopping, and it's telling me I can get it on this random website for £21.13 on PC. It's a CD key from GOG and all that other stuff, but there's nothing there.
There's little things
that says Stadia, actually, which is crazy because it's on Stadia and it plays on Stadia better than most places. I will say, however, in the platform description, it's got PS4 and Google Stadia is second before PS5, Xbox One, and Windows PC.
Wow.
So they're making strides. But it's crazy. They don't utilize, and we've said before, they don't utilize the tools at their disposal.
Yeah.
True that.
Anyone else got anything to add to this topic?
What else could we see with YouTube? What else did Google even do?
I just think more about like the features that should be integrated with it. I think what I want to be able to see is I want to be able to see more access to that button. I know a lot of people in our community actually have been talking about like having the buttons like to be able to click to play and jump into the games from there. But what about when we stream a game, for example? And I know this is a bit of a sidebar, but what about when we stream a game? What about like trying to improve the sales of those games by literally having something underneath, recognizing that we are streaming a game from Google Stadia and offering a link to immediately purchase the game from the store on said Gmail account that is currently logged in?
When we stream a game, we do select what game we're playing from the drop-down list. That should then just put a banner under it to link it.
Should do.
But certainly an interesting one. And if we were to decide now, as I guess a wrap up, I would say that Stadia will form part of some, not necessarily YouTube Premium, but I think some kind of rebranded Google portfolio akin to Apple's One subscription model. I think even if it did future, we could see it.
A discount, or the more different YouTube subscriptions you have, they get subsequent discounts and other stuff. That could be work. Yeah, if you got Google Stadia, you get like 20% off YouTube Premium or something.
Or maybe it's off the
vice versa.
Home hubs, smart tech.
Yeah.
Home hubs.
So what do you think, Tom? Do you think we'll see it integrate at some point in the future?
I think that's the way we need to go. I think we need to consolidate all of these subscription models now. I think we've gone through the point of fragmenting it to a point where, like you say, we've now become so spread thin, like butter over too much bread. But now we're sort of at this point where I want to start seeing things become a little bit more congealed, for lack of a better way. Things coming together and being packaged as one nice little. I'm going to stick with my guns. I want to see it as part of like Google One. I want to see a Google like entertainment bundle.
Oh yeah,
that's what I think they need.
A build your own Google bundle where you just select what services you want.
Yeah. Build a better workshop.
Yeah. So that would then mean you could go in and select whatever service the ones you want to use, and then you pay for the stuff you want.
You get a discount for everything you add on.
Yeah.
So you want music, 10% off that. You want games as well, another 10% off that model. You want music, 10% off that model. The more you buy, the more you save.
And they could just run promos where you get an email that, oh, by the way, we've added Stadia Pro to your membership for the next month. Have fun.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to change. It has to evolve in some way, shape, or form. It can't sit still in its current form because without marketing, it's going to not move the needle as much as they want.
Yeah.
I don't think
there is one big, because ultimately this issue comes down to the player base in Stadia not being as big as it could be. I don't think this is the solution, but I also don't think there is a solution. I think it's going to be a lot of small solutions compound together.
Alcohol's always a solution.
Yeah.
But indeed.
But anyway, that's all we have for you this week. Make sure you like the video and share it with your friends. Don't forget to check out other content, such as the Sound City podcast and the First Night live streams. Follow us on Twitter, join the Discord, all that stuff. You know what to do. I've been Richie.
I've been Tom.
I've been Chris, and I'd like to know what you think down below.
Yeah. We've been Sounds of Stadia. Thank you very much for watching. That's completed.